On the nod! 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 On the nod!
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Brackett. You're watching On the Nod, and today I'm here with Daryl from Brigata Vendetta. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, I usually start these things by asking how the band got together. How did you guys start?
Well, there's three of us, and the guitar player Mike C. And we're in Harrington Saints together. And while Harrington Saints were still together, I kind of had some song ideas, and I asked him if he'd be into maybe sitting down and hashing these songs out that I kind of already maybe just writing some other stuff that was different and having a power just to do something vastly different. And kind of we're doing that. It stopped and started a bit, and then when the Harrington Saints broke up, he and I wanted to keep playing together, so this was just a logical thing to like, let's get a drummer that can commit to touring, or just the whole 9 yards. And then look for a bass player, which we never found, so I just kept playing bass. And we just said, a three-piece works pretty great. It's nice and intimate. It's easy to work around, and there you go. So the ideas, the band's pretty new still. The ideas about it's kind of pre-pandemic actually, when I started kind of writing some of this style, for so.
Like, how would you describe your sound?
I think our sound, like, it really kind of came of 84 and punk that I grew up with. I for not even really just the West Coast or East Coast. I mean, I'm from California, so I'm not gonna probably, as much as I like a lot of the New York, or that's really not my influence or background. Even though I say the British bands are even more of an influence to me than the East Coast bands. So I think we're like a little bit, one part Negative Approach, one part Discharge, and one part Motorhead. Kind of put it together.
That's a good
Can't find anybody that doesn't like those bands.
Right, exactly. Well, you kind of talked about it, but I was going to ask what your influences are.
Yeah, like I said, I wanted to do something very different from any of the bands. I wanted to kind of get back to short, punchy songs, and started listening to a lot of the 80s stuff I grew up with, and was like, I want to do this. I was listening to Negative Approach one day. I was like, why can't I just do something like this? Is great. This is what I remember. I mean, I saw a lot of those bands in the heyday, because I'm a man of a certain age, and so I was like, I kind of want to do this. This seems like very liberating and fun. Like, I want to have fun doing something, and it really it was no major project thing in mind. I just wanted to get together and have fun and play super fast, just like 1 minute. And and then it just kind of kept going. It's been very organic.
Nice.
But definitely the influence from any kind of SoCal hardcore stuff to the Midwest stuff, which I love. A little bit of the British or UK 82 influence thrown in there, and then my influences are a little more East Coast, a little more Anthrax kind of stuff. So he's going to have his influences.
Yeah.
And hopefully it comes out something good. And so far we've been happy with, and we keep growing. We're writing more stuff now already. So.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about if you guys are currently making new music or planning tours.
We just got back from the UK. We did a short tour. We did Rebellion Festival, and it's around that, which we were fortunate to get. We got the 100 Club iconic venue for a lot of people. And we were lucky we got to play that. Had a great time at Rebellion Festival. We even played a fringe show, and we had this little tiny bar, and the whole front row of people were from Oakland, California. So
Oh, really?
it was like being home. It was great. Like 5,000 total represent from Oakland. It was, I mean, that's why you do this kind of stuff, right? That's fucking
Yeah.
amazing. You know, what a family atmosphere. And so yeah, our album came out back in February, and it had that in the can for a while. And we've just been trying to play as much as possible. We did Southern California in the spring this year, and then just got back from the UK. So now, as the weather turns cold, we'll be locking ourselves away and writing some more songs. Hopefully, double the output we have now, if not more. I think we have about 4 or 5 brand new tunes, and the sound is
Awesome.
has kind of tweaked a little bit. It's grown. It's gone its own direction, so it'll be a little bit different for its record. But yeah, we're trying to do a little bit of everything. Still play some local gigs, have a chance to write some songs, have a chance to hang out with our families though, since we're all a bit older and have jobs and everything. So
Right.
we've taken about a 3-week break, and I think on Tuesday we get back to songwriting. So it's been
Awesome.
nice.
Do you guys share in the responsibility for songwriting, or is there just one person that does it?
Yeah, Mike and I with a riff and bring it in, and then
Mhm.
and then let the other the person and the drummer flesh it out, and their person decide where we should go. Like whoever brings the riff in, the other guys like to expand on that riff, and the drummer will put in his 2 cents. And we had when we were writing the first record, This Is How Democracy Dies, it was like we had a rule like every week somebody had to bring in one song, one
Oh,
riff,
that's
or
interesting.
one song. Like um that's how we wrote it pretty quickly, because like you need to bring something in. If it doesn't work, it's a wall. If it doesn't stick, then we don't keep it. But you must bring in at least one riff, if not one whole song, or the basic, frame, bare bones of the song. Every week, one of us would have to.
That's
Threw a lot
cool.
of up against the wall, and some of it stuck, and half of it stuck and half didn't stay. So
Right. That's a really interesting writing process. I mean,
it
I'm
was
sure you get
that,
a lot accomplished.
yeah, that was the fast way. Now we're taking it a little slower and kind of fleshing things out, taking a little bit more time to flesh things out. Um, and I really, really like the new stuff, but pretty much I'll have a riff a lot of times, and then I purposely won't expand on it, and I'll see where Mike goes with it from there, because it'll be different from where I go with it. So unless
Right.
something writes itself, kind of I have a riff, and then the next part just kind of writes itself. I will only bring in the one main riff, him flesh out the rest. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it's been going with us. And that's kind of how it was in Harrington Saints as well. We've been working together for years now. I think we're at 19 years. So
Wow.
we work well together.
Yeah, definitely. You have come from that strong background of being in another band. Why did
Yeah.
the Harrington Saints split up? If you don't mind me asking.
I'm sorry.
Oh, why did the Harrington Saints split up?
Um, I think some of the tired after years, and tired of touring, and we didn't want to get replacements. Well, some of us kind of did, and some of us did. Nothing was unanimous, and I think didn't want to get a bunch of replacements. We wanted to always keep it original, and so I just packed it in after 15 years. And
Yeah.
I had felt that we had kind of done what we wanted to do, and I think oddly the last record, in many people's opinion, not just and if that was the swan song, then so it's comfortable with that. ready to move on. And it had gotten a little bit rigorous and a little bit too much like a job.
Right, that's no longer fun.
Yeah, yeah. So I think Brigata is the most fun I've had playing music since I was a teenager, to be honest.
Really? Wow. Have you been playing in a lot of bands throughout your life?
Yeah, I took a lot of I was in my very first punk band at I think 17 or 18, and I think we played parties, and then I was another hardcore band after that at about 18 years old, or 19, and we actually played some pretty like Central Coast, like San Luis Obispo area,
Okay.
and I've been quite a few bands over the years. Um, Lived in San Diego for a while, didn't do. Um, I would say though for the past 25 years plus, I've been in quite a bit. The
Wow.
Harrington Saints were around for 15 years. 15 years of that was pretty, rough schedule. Um, Writing, recording, touring, constant 15 years of that content.
Right.
Everyone so, kind of gets to you. But yeah, I've been doing this quite some time.
Very cool. That's impressive that you've been, playing music for that long and doing it for so long and
It's
you know.
either impressive or really dumb. I don't know. I, I don't golf, so what else am I gonna do?
Well, I think it's impressive.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Now, what would you say most of your songs are about? Like what kind of influences your songwriting?
I think in this band, in the stuff, social, political issues. This band's a little bit more personal. I guess that's somewhat by design. You can't just write about the same politics and social issues over and over because nobody wants to hear that. You're just beating a dead
Right.
horse at that point. Like nobody's gonna listen. And I understand that's human nature. It's fine. And so I wanted to kind of things off the table. And unfortunately, I've had you start to kind of lose friends or family members, and harder. So a lot of it is about
Right.
personal trauma or past trauma growing up, just real kind of introspective and we got one song about a friend she died, about a friend passing away, but it could be about a few friends of mine. You know, I lost quite a few friends. So yeah, just things about having growing up in the 80s in America to starting to lose your friends in one way or another, whether they pass away or they drop out of your life or things like
Yeah.
that. So, I think we have like one pro-union song on the record. One kind of political song is actually about just kind of an 80s motif. It's like it's about the Ukraine Russia war. So but it's not like
Wow.
a big, it's just like, wow, man, we're in the 80s all over here. It's like another Cold War. Like
Yeah,
what
I
it
can see
feels like.
that.
You know, just things like that. To there are, I know a lot of the reviews, the lyrics are a lot more turned inwards, a lot more personal, and I'm just writing about things that happened to me. About it.
Well, those are, some of the most impactful songs are, personal experiences. So,
Yeah,
I-
you can't fake it, and why would you want to? So
right, definitely. So you were saying you were around in the 80s. I mean, how do you see the differences in the subculture from then and now?
um a lot less dangerous, and that I mean that in a good way.
Right.
Less nihilistic. Of course, I miss, things about those days, but I'm not one of those guys that's like those were the good old days. Like these, like we're getting to travel and play festivals with thousands of people attending the festival in England, and bands from over there are coming over here. I've got to play. I've got to go so many places and meet so many people. That's my favorite. Bands from so many places that would have never even thought or dreamed we could do this, 40 years ago, 30 years ago, even. And so these are the good old days. These are the good days. Like enjoy that.
Yeah.
Be more fun than probably would have. I mean, would it have been great to tour like bands like the Circle Jerks and Channel 3 in a band in the 80s when you're young and you can sleep on the floor? Yeah, I missed out on that. The bands I was in didn't want to tour. I always wanted to be was always the one guy that wanted to tour, put out records ourselves and tour, but have to have on board with that or it's never going to work. The differences are were huge back then. There was a lot more people. It was a close knit family. I'm still friends with friends from back in the day, and I it's better than it is now. Recently, we got to play my hometown in the and spoke with people the same age as me and that grew up there as well. And it was just a great night. Even after we played was the best part. It's great to hang out and talk about the old days and then they brought their kids out,
Yeah.
so well, shit is fun. So yeah, it was different then. It had some good parts, but I wouldn't trade how it is now for that. I'm having a blast still. I'm still doing this.
Yeah, sounds like it. How did you get into the music and everything in the subculture?
I got into and my friend brought home the first Punk and Disorderly record, compilation record.
Nice.
And we were listening to whatever different stuff we could find at the time. And we were in high school, and my best friend's his brother actually brought it home. And we dropped the needle on the record. And we're like, oh, it's a Dead Kennedys. We kind of heard of them, like, this is cool. And then like the next band was Blitz. And I was like, that's it, I'm done. I'm off to the races. Like
Yeah.
nothing is ever going to be the same after this. And then it was like the Partisans and all those bands from that compilation. And I'm like, this is it. I am never looking back. um,
Yeah.
and I kind of didn't. Then there was actually some older at my school that had driver's licenses, and
Mhm.
I think I was 14 at the 15. I don't know. And they said, hey, there's a show in Santa Barbara. It's not far from where we grew in the car, and we're gonna go. And the show was Discharge and Suicidal Tendencies. And then
Oh, wow.
after no, like, yeah, I'm in. Like,
Yeah.
where do I sign? Like, stamp my card. Like, I'm in. So yeah, that and that was like 1982, 1983 or something like that. So
Wow, that must have been an incredible show.
here we are. That was still up there, probably in the top 5.
Yeah, to see those bands in the early days, I mean, that unbelievable.
Yeah.
Definitely. Do you have like a dream place that you want to play or a band that you want to play with?
Luckily, I've gotten to play with over the years. Most of wanted to, and some I never thought I'd get to. But I still have not played with Discharge, who are one of my favorite bands. So yeah, as far as bands, that's one. And I played the same festival, but I haven't really played. Those two bands would be great. This past summer or before, I can't. We opened for Negative Approach, so that was a huge
Wow.
huge plus. And so yeah, I'm checking things off of club in London this past I guess it was about 3 weeks ago now. That was a huge one. Never thought I'd that. But yeah, there's still a couple bands out there. Since I want to play Europe quite a bit, but I've never certain countries like Eastern Europe on tour. Like I was in bands that traveled, so I'd love to play. Oh, I've played Czech Republic, maybe Slovak, things like places like that. Um, can't can't go to Ukraine really right now. It's probably not good. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, just some places like that. And when I was offered to play Russia a couple of times, and we declined both times. And now I look
Oh,
back at
really?
it done it when it was a good time to be over there.
Yeah, that's true.
The, but yeah, there's still some places that I haven't played that I want to. I'm lucky that I've gotten to play most, and there's still a couple bands out there that I will hunt you down
Yeah.
to the show somehow. So yeah, there's still some stones left unturned. I'm
Oh, definitely.
happy and fortunate.
Yeah. Do you have like a favorite place that you played so far?
Um, yeah, there's oh man, there's locally the Ivy Room is in Albany. It's an all-female run and
Oh,
owned
wow.
club. Not so much run, but it's all-female owned club. It's the pride. It's the jewel of Beats Bay in California right now. Love playing there. Internationally, love playing the Underworld and the 100 Club was great. And I love playing Wild at Heart in Berlin. That is a venue that I've played many times, and when I walk in, it just feels like I know what's on the menu and what they're gonna feed us or whatever.
Yeah.
It's the same people running it, and every time I walk in, they're like, "Hi, like I was just there." You know,
Oh,
that's the
that's
kind of
awesome.
stuff that's great on the road because so far from home, so far from loved ones that to see familiar smiling faces and those little companies, you know, here's your beer, like we made food for you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So welcoming.
Yeah, that's the word. Yeah, very well. Are a few of the places that stand out. I do like playing Rebellion Festival. I've played on 3 different bands, and
Oh,
it's
wow.
just a
Cool.
it's just hard getting there, Fester. So it's like when you go over there to play, a lot of the clubs are not shows, so it's hard to get auxiliary shows around the tour. So, but
Oh,
once you're there and you're doing it, see friends that go every year, and you get to hang out with bands, and there's all these stages going at one time, and you have a backstage pass, and you could ping pong stage to stage, like what 4, 5, 6 songs of a band. And
yeah.
it's that's incredible. It's a great festival. Everybody should go at least once. But yeah, those are the ones that stand out.
Yeah, that's on my list for sure. I keep hearing amazing things about Rebellion, and the 100 Club is so legendary. So many
Mhm.
great bands have played there throughout history. So those are
Exactly.
definitely.
I had to really not think about that when we were there. And Mike, our guitar player, is looking at stuff, and he's like, "I'm gonna bug out. I gotta stop." I'm like, I don't even think I'm not looking at anything until after we play because
You're
I'm gonna start.
right.
I get so nervous. I rarely get nervous, but yeah, that was one. That was one.
Definitely. Definitely. I can definitely see that. Are there any bands that you're listening to now that you're really into?
Oh, every time I get that question, my mind goes blank.
I know, same with me. That's why I feel guilty asking sometimes.
Every time. Um, there's how do I say this? There's not a lot of new from Sacramento that are a bunch of young guys called Divided Youth that are fantastic.
Oh, okay.
Or the Oi side, Kaliko Erving. I probably mispronounced I toured with them a couple years ago and saw them at Rebellion this time. They're actually in the States on the East Coast right now.
Oh,
I don't know
really?
where they just played, but they're doing, and they are fantastic, like Oi Street Punk, and amazing energy, really nice guys. I think for the Oi side of this of things, them and I really like Red Bricks from Hamburg, Germany. More of a
Okay.
classics. Um, and yeah, and then as far as hardcore, I like some of the stuff going on in the Bay Area. They started this kind of sound now, and like there was Grosero, it's from Oakland, from Sacramento. That's all good. Yeah, yeah. There's some stuff that's new. Not too old and jaded to go out and
Well, that's good. Definitely. Is there a place where people can buy your music and your merch and stuff like that?
yeah, they can buy any of the music. The best place is probably Pirates Press Records.com.
Okay.
We have a big cartel site that has not been updated since I've been back from tour, but it is Rob a Bank Records. Bill Big Cartel. It's kind of my own de facto label. Uh, we just started get kind of to put out some kind of auxiliary Harrington Saints releases. Like we did a live record right now, and so we did a limited release of that. So I'm using it for this band now. But yeah, Rob a Bank Records on Big Cartel. You can usually buy t-shirts,
Oh, good.
tote bags. Once I get it updated, you can buy our records from us. A lot of people like to do that, and that's amazing. We appreciate it. Pirates Press Records is a very good label to work with, and you know,
Oh,
we will
definitely.
get paid either way because they keep records. I'm like, it's a deal. But yeah, either one, Pirates Press, Big Cartel, Robin Bank Records. Between those two, you can get anything we have. And trying to grow the merch now. I'm a little slow in doing that sometimes, but I'm trying to work on that, get better with that. So some bands have everything: lighters, banners, I don't know, cups. Yeah, I'm like,
You'll get there. You'll get there, I'm
yeah,
sure.
features.
Cool. Well, is there anything else you want to talk about before we wrap this up?
um, no, just it's it's been coming from coming from a band that was ensconced more in the Oi and street punk scene for 15 years.
Mhm.
Um, the hard part of this band has been getting people to be like, it's not going to sound like the other stuff at all. It's completely
Yeah,
different. And getting people to be okay with that was a lot harder than I had realized it was going to be. Like when
really.
we first came, we were like, oh, this is totally different. Like, it doesn't have to be a bad thing. If you don't like it, that's fine. It's just kind of strange that the subgenres under punk so fine now that we can't go do anything else, and I don't want it to be that way.
Yeah, I see what you're
Be
saying.
like, be like, oh yeah, like, and I think it's starting to kind of be okay, like this guys that are in oi bands that have a hardcore band and vice versa, and that's okay. Like it's
Yeah,
let's not be so rigid. Don't want side project or just do the next band that's going to sound just like one of my other bands. I think that's so boring. You don't have to be completely different. Ramon did a rap record.
yeah.
you know, let's relax and enjoy sing of genres. Come out and see us. It'll be 28 minutes well spent, and that's we're on and off, man. um, but yeah, hopefully we can. We're having a great time. Want to support us by our record because we like making more. We can only make more if we sell them.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah. Thanks for the interview, and support local music and your local clubs, because without them, we're just going to have a Starbucks and a Chick-fil-A on every corner. And
Oh God, yeah.
no one wants to live in that world, do they?
No, definitely not. Well, hang out for a minute once I'm done recording. But this has been such a pleasure meeting you and getting to know more about the band. I look forward to hearing more music and hopefully catching a show in the future.
Thank you. Thank you. Likewise. Great to meet you.
Awesome. Well, this is On the Nod. I've been talking to Daryl from Brigata Vendetta. One day I'll say the name right. And I hope I'm saying the name right. Anyway, thanks for coming on. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you for having me very much.
All right. Till next time.